I'm not the art police. I have a lot of respect for people's subjective opinions on art.
Every time Taylor Swift releases a project, I'm increasingly perplexed as to how popular she is, what she's been able to achieve, and how Swifties are the most delusional bunch of people that I've experienced in America.
I mean, I welcome the chaos.
Taylor Swift has revealed herself to be resentful of Black women, or at least deeply insecure when it comes to comparing herself to Black women. In the song Opalite, Taylor is referencing Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend, Kiiii. So Taylor is not only using the lyrics in the song to talk about how she is so much better for Travis than his ex-girlfriend is, choosing to do that using the imagery of onyx, which is typically black, and opalite, which is typically white.
It's like everybody is allowed to feel exactly how they want.
Taylor Swift's new album is many things. Unfortunately, good is not one of them.
I have such an eye on legacy when I'm making my music. I know what I made. I know I adore it. And
I have a dream.
Yo, okay, people are rolling in. What's up? It's nice to see you.
I have a dream.
Renry, is that how you say it? I said, oh my god, I finally caught a live. Well, it's nice to see you too. Like, face to face like this, I guess. Parasocially. Beside me, even. Like I'm holding you. Like I'm Thanos. Yesterday, we had a whole dissertation about Taylor Swift, basically, imploding into white feminism. Like I said yesterday, I wanted to do another live because there was so much things that I missed out on, and that live already got to an hour long, and I wanted to go through the history of Taylor Swift and how she got into country music, how she kept curating personas of white identity in order to fit in narrow molds of progression that she like kind of just sits in, you know what I'm saying, without pushing any molds of art, and then just being rewarded for being the symbol she is. And I want to talk about her as the epitome of white feminism in this video. Dana said no. Bella said nice to see you finally catching the live. Is it finally the end? Are we free? T-Swizzle. Please don't bring up T-Swizzle again. Oh my god, T-Swizzle. Bro said T-Swizzle. Alright. But we about to start the live. We getting the stove hot with this one, okay? I want to talk about the nature of white feminism and the visage of privilege Taylor Swift moves in. But you know, like I said, last video we covered a lot, but it got way too long. But basically what you have to keep in mind is Taylor Swift is a pseudo means of progression in a genre that uses white normativity in order to limit black creativity, right? Because she came out of country and then she came out of pop, right? Meaning the verb of Taylor Swift is shielded by her hollow image of representation because of the said change she imposes, which is basically whitewashing for a white woman. You know what I'm saying? This is peak white fragility, white feminism. But before I get too heated, let me say hi to the Aryans. We gotta say hi to the Aryans, chat. We gotta say hi, Aryans. That's the Taylor Swift fans. That's what we call the Taylor Swift fans. Hi, Aryans. They're the Aryans because I said last video, if you really fuck with her that bad, you're pledging allegiance to a cause that's just as hollow as your perception of progress. I'm sorry. I'm telling y'all, if the feminist KKK had a rally today, they'd be playing our song and wearing red lipstick. You know what I'm saying? 30% of them would be Disney adults too. Don't get me started on them. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're I'm not a Swiftie. But if the Swifties are the Aryans, they're like Mussolini's Italy. You know what I'm saying? They work hand in hand type shit. For what I did. However, let's do a quick refresher, okay? What do I mean by white feminism? And does anyone have any examples? Y'all have examples of white feminism? Because I want this one to be more of a back and forth, you know? I want this specific section of the video to be less research-based and more like conversational, because the way patriarchy works in our life changes in tandem with our households, race, and culture, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really get the stereotype of men only women wear dresses because at all my cultural events the men's were fitted out. You know what I'm saying? They were fitted out in the robes and all that. So I didn't really get that cultural connotation. But living in North America, I got the cultural connotation of, you know, the boys and girls being split in phys ed all the time. Boys being stronger than girls, and there's certain roles you have to do, and the stoic culture, you know what I'm saying? Someone said J.K. Rowling, kinda. Actually, you hit that in the head, actually. I think J.K. Rowling is actually one of the peak forms of white feminism, or at least number one in Britain for sure. Like number one in Britain for sure. Someone said, someone said high cracker Aryans. But we're just about to hop into it though. I'm about to pull up the definition here from the Sage. Oh, I gotta switch the screen. Look at that, y'all on a different screen now. But this is Feminism Not For All, the discourse around white feminism across 5 social media platforms. And this is a really good paper on the aspect of white feminism. Here it says white feminism, why it's a problem. White feminism has been criticized by scholars as the lack of structural and intersectionality of gender and race, and a practice of erasing the agency of women of color. And as we're about to get into, Taylor Swift joins a history of artists who have erased voices from the Black diaspora. But like I said, white feminism is a problem because of a number of perceptions, including like class, things of like socioeconomic systemic hardships aren't really considered in a kind of minute lens like that. You're not really considering how the whole aspect of capitalism contributes to disenfranchising us. Y'all don't know that white women can be racist too, sadly. White women can be billionaires too. In fact, Taylor Swift is a billionaire using their mediocrity in order to churn out bad album after bad album after bad album. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things you can get away with to that regard. In and of itself, it's a very powerful thing. What that guys, I hit the stop streaming button by accident. I'm so sorry to the chat. Is my chat still here even? Oh yeah, my chat's still here. Oh my god, I clicked the stop streaming button by accident. Why am I like this? I'm so sorry. This is my fault. I clicked the stop streaming button by accident. But like I said, white feminism frames women as unified and universalized from a white cisgender and middle class perspective, right? This isn't really taking into the issues of women in countries like Gaza, where the instance of systemic harm there is a monopoly of violence and placed on them for colonial extraction profit. You know what I'm saying? This doesn't really put into the forefront indigenous women who go missing and murdered in settler colonial enterprises because of aspects of white supremacy. You're not really jotting together that history. All you're doing is narrowing your view to a very select few people. Someone said the sound is on and off. The audio keeps skipping. No, is my audio skipping? Oh no. Am I good now? No way. Are the Swifties coming for me right now? The Swifties are coming for my live, guys. The Swifties are coming for my live. Holy damn. It seems like I'm smooth on my end though, right? And like I said, Taylor Swift purposefully constructs these images of herself. You know what I'm saying? Like, Taylor Swift is a billionaire. And I'm going to pull up some proof about this. If you see here, we went over this yesterday in, deeper degree. She kind of came up with a father that worked for a popular law firm, like a stockbroker for Merrill Lynch, and her mother as a mutual fund marketing executive. During their childhoods, Swift spent her holiday seasons in Christmas tree farms, okay, and the summers at her family vacation home. However, this is when the waters get fishy, okay? So I found this interview of Taylor Swift young, and here, when she's getting into the country scene, you know what I'm saying? And she's trying to connect more with her audience, she starts faking a country accent. Chat. And y'all are just gonna have to see this to believe me.
Bowls and fairs and karaoke contests when I was like 10. And that's what I did. I grew up in Pennsylvania in a place called...
That's what I did. I grew up in Pennsylvania. Like, what the hell?
Called Reading, which is right between the coal mines and the Amish country, which so there's a lot to do. But, just started singing everywhere I possibly could. Did that for about a year. I
like how she giggled and said there's a lot to do, then looked at the camera like we've been at a Christmas tree farm. Like, we spend the summers, like we go coast to coast constantly because all our parents are stockbrokers. You know what I'm saying? But that's the lead on to Taylor Swift's kind of perception, right? She co-opts images, and she was co-opting this image of organic white identity met in country at that point in time in order to sell herself, right, as this new upcoming country artist. So why do I say Taylor Swift is the feminism, right? Do y'all think she's the feminist perception in pop culture, and why? Like I said last video, I'm open to being wrong. Please debate with me. This is going to be a back and forth. I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan, nor do I care about her enough to throw hands over this. So I'm open to having my minds changed, okay? Okay, change my mind. However, I contextualize her as the feminism because of the way she's developed through her art, specifically in the caricature of white identity. I call her a white feminist. You know what I'm saying? Someone said, bro, I literally just finished the last video. Someone said your audio is still skipping. Why is my audio still skipping? But yeah, you heard my Christmas tree crash out from last video. Oh God. But anyways, we're gonna get into like bullet and basically the controversy from yesterday. I covered this in the last video, but just to rehash so y'all know, all of Travis Kelce's exes are black, right? And here she sings a metaphor about her about Travis Kelce, right? And she says, it's all right, you were dancing through the lightning strikes, sleepless in the onyx night, implying that Travis Kelce was in a bad place in the onyx night with the black exes, right? But now the sky is opalite because Taylor Swift is white. You know what I'm saying? Only a white feminist would look at this and say this is art, right? And I say that's so distinctly white feminist art because of the way it separates race and the way it purposefully, for you to get this, obscures the viewpoint of femininity into only white identity in order for you to relate to it, right? Because those lyrics were not for black women. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. But then when I talk about the progression of Taylor Swift, or the progressive aspect of symbolism Taylor Swift poses as a woman in an industry, being a billionaire, you know what I'm saying? She also gets a fan base that defends lyrics like this. I'm just gonna search up Opalite on Twitter and look at this. I've napped, I've dribbled, I've listened to Opalite for 3 hours. I even spelt it wrong. Look at this, how listening to Opalite feels. You see what I mean? B Jewelry. This is #1 Aryan leader. This is Aryan KKK leader, Confederate 99569 right here. 6. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the Aryan general here. Bejewelry. This is how listening to Opalite feels. You know what I'm saying? Like, purposely constructing your audience's viewpoint to view things in the lens of white femininity. That's what she's doing. And her audience, of course, built off of this same conjecture for all these years, are now like playing with this imagery and playing with these lyrics. Look at the sleep. Oh my God, they playing this in the club. They playing this in the club. Look at the white people dancing. Oh, they having a rally. They having a white feminism rally. I told you today, if they played music at the KKK in a white feminist rally today, it would be a Taylor Swift song. And what happened? Now all of a sudden they got Opalite in the club, and they got the white girls hitting the little bop to Opal. I have a dream. Oh my God. Oh my God. The Klan don't need the Klan got enough recruits. The Klan got enough recruits. But anyways, I would go as far as to mention Taylor Swift started off with white presentation in mind you, because we saw that last interview, right? Faking a country accent in order to bypass her rich, affluent past to connect to a white audience better. I won't go too far, but I want to brief you on the history of country music in order to really get how the aspect of white identity has even become integral to country music as a whole, right? So music as we really know it sonically pops off in the 1920s, and I got an article about this. It's called American Fads and Crazes, the 1920s. And if y'all know anything about the 1920s, that's an era Taylor Swift wishes she can live in, I think she said in her album or something. I'm not sure. But it says here, the decade before survived the cataclysm of World War I and a deadly global influenza epidemic. What you have to know about this era is the radio really gets instated, and the way sound moves, the way sound travels, and the way information moves throughout society changes drastically. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't just gotta wait for something in a paper to get it. Now you're gonna be hearing it from a radio broadcast station. You don't gotta be going and buying CDs. Now you can listen to the radio and have a globalized agenda of music, right? And what happened when that globalized agenda of music was brought up in a racial dynamic as terrible as the 1920s, considering Jim Crow was there, was a distinct split happened, right? And that happened because of a systemic factor, a systemic reality of blackness being interlinked in society. And this new era of radio exploding onto the forefront, right? These two things caused country to split or diverge, right? All of a sudden, country was segregated, right? Even though country comes from a long lineage of black music. But let's read some of this because I don't want to lecture y'all without y'all knowing the things I know, right? The post-World War I era of the 1920s was a time of prosperity and new opportunities. The economy was booming and the middle class was enjoying a higher standard of living. American women earned the right to vote, which gave many young women a new sense of empowerment. The Volstead Act, which prohibited alcohol, led to illegal saloons called speakeasies that gave people the opportunity to indulge in jazz and liquor. The decade earned two monikers. The Jazz Age, credited to Scott Fitzgerald, right? Scott Fitzgerald. And Scott Fitzgerald here is a white man, right? The Jazz Age is credited to this white man because of the way white music was commodified, right? And essentially played in all white spaces. What jazz became remembered by was through the symbols of aesthetic that wanted to be remained present in modern society, which was white identity, right? White supremacy kind of took over the music industry and made people like him the face of the industry, which is why you get a lot of people like Elvis too, as like the face of rock and roll, even though there were plenty of black faces of rock and roll before, after, and during Elvis, right? Same way. As we see, however, segregation was like an issue, right? Like we have to really put that in mind. And you might have seen that photo of the white people playing jazz and were a little shocked, but these white enclaves that were segregated from black communities, right? Meaning they formed their own bands and recited jazz music made by black artists, thus creating a new white identity. And if y'all didn't know, country music is black, and if y'all are doubting me on that, I'm gonna take y'all back real quick. I'm gonna bring y'all a quick little article. It's called A Brief History of Black Country Music from Teat Tot to Breland. Spirituals sung by enslaved Africans are categorized as the oldest American folk songs. Thus, because country music is a descendant of blues and folk music, the black musical tradition in the genre extends to the 17th century, well before the genre was established in the 1920s, right? The 1920s is only significant because of the radio and how it was able to be allotted to white third spaces because of segregation, right? But jazz has survived well before that, right? The bluesing styles of Jimmy Rogers, who is widely accepted as the father of country music, right? Like I said, white faces emerged. One of these people were Jimmy Rogers. And he became like the godfather of country music. Even though he learned how to play the banjo and the guitar as a teenage high school dropout from black people who worked on the railroad beside him, right? And his trademark yodel that blended blues, European yodeling, and a falsetto popularized by African American singers was a result of on-the-spot education, right? So this was actually a very delicate cultural conversation between him and like the black artists around him, which came up with this genre we now know now. But the marketability and white supremacy really erased that history of a connectivity to culture, to lineage. You know what I'm saying? Like that damaged it a lot. So country has its roots in mimicry. You know what I'm saying? Usually this mimicry would be carried on by a white person, as there was literally a racially depicted image of a black person as inferior. Thus the music had to be too. Even though they were copying it, the music had to be inferior, right? If this sounds dumb to you, you should be glad you have two brain cells, because it is, right? There's one more TikTok video. Actually, we won't skip that TikTok video. Let's just bring this all back to radio. And I want to talk to my chat for a little bit. I missed my chat. Someone said 1920s was not a fire period for any country, right? Susan B. Anthony is a big example of white feminism, right? Imagine just getting yourself more rights and then a tragic economic catastrophe happens, right? But we also have to understand that America in this time also sold the idea of community, or the idea of pulling yourself up from your bootstraps to black people through things like the New Deal, which were instated under like a fair lens of like coverage, right? And the New Deal was basically a subsidy that was given out during the Great Depression that won that president his whole presidency, because he rallied off of, oh, I'm gonna give you all money, I'm gonna give you all money, I'm gonna give you all money. And then when that happened, he basically just gave white companies and more so white business owners money and the opportunity for white people to indulge in capitalist societies more easily, right? So although there were a lot of federal programs that came out of that, a lot of these programs haven't actually been allocated to black people even in general, right? So even while the Depression was happening and white people were kind of fighting for a means of reparations from their government because of the horrible living standards their government created, black people still didn't get reparations, right? Someone said, hello, I find this so interesting, and I've been so excited for this. Thank you. Because we're getting way more into the lecturing part of this, where I ramble a lot, but I need y'all to know this before I tie this all into Taylor Swift being the kind of Jesus or the next coming of commodification to country music and music in general, right? Like Taylor Swift goes past the barriers of co-opting black music, because black music has already been co-opted at this point. It began in the 1920s and it started and it's been going on all the way till now in 2025. You know what I'm saying? It's been 100 years of co-option. At this point, a lot of us think of country music as white. You know what I'm saying? Like the propaganda kind of did its job. But Taylor Swift takes that and goes above it by saying, oh, well, there's country music and now there's a country music but from a femme artist. Or there's pop music from a femme artist, a genre that also heavily steals from, black identity and black voices. And then situates herself as a stature of progression, because she's like, yes, this is all I have to be. This is all I can be. Just this white girl that sings about breakup songs and dating white men. You know what I'm saying? And that's enough. And that's where the faults of white feminism come in. But like I said, prior to the radio, music could only be shared through like sheet music, piano rolls, or live performances, right? So with the use of radio waves, you have to understand that music of all kinds could be easily introduced to like homes across the United States. Okay, so chat, we're gonna do a little thought experiment. Okay, pretend we all run a little truck stop, like one of those Riverdale truck stops that Archie and all his friends come in to like eat. You know what I'm saying? We run those, and we're pops. We're pops, and all the teenagers come in at a precisely 8 a.m. for the lighting. You know what I'm saying? They had to come through the blinds the right way and make them look angelic for some reason, right? If we lived in the climate of 1920s while we were running this shop, right, in a racially charged atmosphere aimed at the necks of black people, coupled with the new era of radio broadcasting fostered by a generation that just came out of World War I, who's taking the YOLO motto to life after witnessing the worst horrors ever seen. And we gotta throw the biggest Getty. You know what I'm saying? We gotta throw the biggest Getty. Right? But then we can't use black music in order to fuel our third spaces. What kind of music will be replaced in that genre? Someone said, is there any major music genre that comes from white people? They like to pretend classical, but even those people didn't really coin themselves as white. A lot of those people didn't coin. They like to pretend classical. Someone said vinyl LPs came relatively quickly, but those and gramophones weren't anywhere near as common as radios. Yup. So if we got through the biggest party, right, in segregated America, all of a sudden we need music. You know what I'm saying? We need music. And the music coming from the black people, and that's super good. But the black people are to be systemically disenfranchised and casted aside. They're not allowed to come into this truck stop. You know what I'm saying? Like the white kids are. They're not allowed to come into the truck stop and drink the milkshakes. So what we're going to do is we're going to trick them and we're going to play black music on the radio. And then we're just going to label it something in a ubiquitous genre. We're going to label it as a ubiquitous genre. You know what I'm saying? And all these people will come in and be like, oh, what's this music? I've never heard this music before, right? Because we live in the North. Right? Because we live in the North and that style of Southern music we've never heard. We're going to fall in love with this music without understanding any of the cultural connotations that come with it. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, the music that we play will not relate to a sort of community and will not be a same sort of sharing of experiences, life, and culture like country music was with Southern groups. right? Someone said genres of music are formed by large bodies of people over long periods of time. Excluding all white people is just something a person does to try to get power in the way they see white supremacists, right? And I'm not saying white people weren't influential or a means of change for country music, because like we said, that Jimmy guy learned to play the banjo from other indentured servants. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, like, this becomes like a conversation of how whiteness is sort of pedestaled in the aspect of art. You know what I'm saying? And how the black artist is constantly disenfranchised in favor for the white artist, right? So the most popular jazz musicians of that time were people like Louis Armstrong, who were black, right? A black popular voice who made hit after hit on the radio. So a little truck stop owner would like play his music under a very ubiquitous title, right? And they would be called race records, right? And then white music would be called hillbilly music. And there's a really good article about this. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because this is a lot to cover. This could be like a section in a history class to cover, not gonna lie, how black artists are constantly disenfranchised. This article is called Blues, Queens, and Race Records in the 1920s, right? In the 1920s, African Americans enjoyed unprecedented success in the record industry. They'd made recordings since Thomas Edison's phonograph became widely available in the 1890s, but companies dictated that African American records, primarily coon songs and minstrel show material that reinforced black subservience. Through blues and jazz in the 1920s, African Americans took center stage with music from their own cultural heritage as record companies propagated the growth of a race records market that sold music by black artists to black listeners, right? So that's what happened over here. Black music started being stationed under race records. So this was a way to classify white and black music on the national market because of how race worked as a construct in society. Remember that. And this is the way Southern music gets its redefined and remodeled white identity, right? All around denying access to black performers. Of course, the white music gets sold more, but how we think of country and hail bills and pickup trucks didn't actually take form from the white country music we see today. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, the image of a country singer back then was interlinked to the class struggle of white families, right? And I want to show y'all, where is it? Okay, right here. I'm so sorry that took me a little bit, but I found it. In 1923, Oka led the way again, starting a separate series that featured records by white rural Southern artists, making a similar consumer group. Other labels followed suit, creating new catalogs under names such as Hillbilly, Old Times, or Old Familiar Tunes. These catalogs paralleled the segregation in society and obscured the musical interaction that had long occurred amongst blacks and whites, right? So the musical interaction that came natural with white and black identity, as does any when you're in contact with like white people, right? Although racism is alive, you still grew up with white kids in your school, right? And you had to make some white friends. I had some Bobs and Dylans around me for a bit. Not so much anymore, but for a while there was some Bobs and Dylans around me, right? And what we did was we came up with cool games during recess. We came up with amazing art in our art classes sometimes. Like when we worked together, we would get some things accomplished from our different subjective views, and that's how these artists grew up in the South too. You know what I'm saying? With white and black music kind of integrating. Well, white and black identity kind of integrating after indentured servitude and allowing for spaces of camaraderie like that to happen in places like workplaces, right? Where white and black people would now be working together low key. So in extents to that, when we think of the aspect and the influence of country music as a sort of factor or a sort of emplacement for negligence to history, you know what I'm saying? And for distorting the image of community, distorting the image of art, distorting the image of third spaces into only white identity, we have to look at the way segregation and the way these different race records carried on, right? Both Race and Hillbilly series included various styles, but only to the extent that music fit the company's notions of black and white music. They did not release fiddle breakdowns in Race record catalogs, even though they had traditionally been a part of black musicians' repertoires. Record companies occasionally issued a record by a black artist in the standard pop catalog, but only if they believed it would appeal to white customers. Some black artists found their way onto Hillbilly records, although generally as uncredited members of backing bands, right? And there's a bunch of people here you could check out from this time. Mamie Smith. Mamie Smith is actually amazing. Ethel Waters, Alberta Hunter, Lucille Higman, Trixie Smith. Amazing artists, amazing artists. I haven't listened to all of them, but I know a lot of them are amazing, right? So Hillbilly became a signifier for white Southern country, chat. So Hillbilly became a signifier of white Southern country. Someone said the music industry is racist as fuck. It's the way that it's commodified, always in favor of whiteness in my views. Yup. Wait, so made a category for music made by black people and called it race records? Sounds familiar. Cough, urban music, right? It's what the Grammys did too. It's a big practice in music. Like the comment said before, the music industry is racist as fuck. It commodifies always in the form of whiteness. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is different from the previous stream. Yeah, this one's going to be more so of a breakdown of Taylor Swift's segue into commodification and white femininity as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, this stream's going to be a little bit different. Whereas the last stream, we were just trolling a little bit. We do a little trolling. We do a little trolling. So if we were to wrap this all the way back around to Taylor Swift, right? Wrap this all the way back around to Taylor Swift, we could find that it's natural. It's natural and even common that she finds herself in this chair because it was destined for her, right? White commodification has always been a thing in country. And Taylor Swift faking a country accent in order to fit this visage of white identity is so in line with the soul of commodification that happens in music. And I want to say here, Taylor Swift, if y'all listen to her for a little bit, she's definitely faking that accent. Let me click play. Keep in mind how she speaks now. Keep in mind how she speaks like a California Valley girl now. But this is how she spoke before and faked her accent.
Year until I came to Nashville for the first time, and I was 11 and I had this demo CD of me singing karaoke music and walked into every major record label and was like, hey, I'm Taylor, I'm 11, I want a record deal, call me, which didn't really pan out, but I went back home and
even the way she sets herself up, right, as this moniker of this like little white girl that's going up to these CEOs and saying, hi, please sign me. Your dad is a very rich and powerful man. You know what I'm saying? Your mom is a very rich and powerful woman. They are giving you money to relocate in order to chase your dreams. They are literally relocating so you can chase your dreams. You know what I'm saying? They have that much money that her dad can literally give a loan to the record company that Taylor Swift eventually signs at in order for that record company to push Taylor Swift more, right? In order for Taylor Swift to be in good favors with people already in power. And this is what I mean about relation to capital. Like, I'm not saying Taylor Swift is a nepotism baby, but in relation to capital, Taylor Swift just had so much damn benefactors in her favor. You know what I'm saying? So adopting this aspect of white identity to me is a little bit weird, because why are you coming on here acting like a hillbilly? Like you're a Southern hillbilly that shared community with those black country singers and learned how to play the banjo from an indentured servant. No, you didn't. You were in a Christmas tree farm and you may have a banjo from an indentured servant. I don't know. Like, Taylor Swift family seem like the type, if they that rich. I don't know. But see, Taylor Swift hasn't always just been country. Like, with every album she releases, she takes on the moniker of like an era, right? Where she uses her life and experiences as a muse, right? However, through all these eras, my critique has been with her commodification of identity. Even when she just moved through pop, she became the girl played in Netflix rom-coms, you know what I'm saying? Her artistry as a verb doesn't ever break the barrier of white adherence she was birthed in, right? But in 2025, TikTok and our understanding of music, but in 2025, TikTok has shifted our understanding of music, right? We were all the way back in the 1920s talking about the radio. Now we're talking about the short form algorithm and how we swipe every 3 seconds and hear a new song. Like, we're sonically attacked by music all the damn time. You know what I'm saying? It's the Kiiii. Like, the 6-7 meme is so stuck in. Y'all see Natasha Bedingfield hit the 6-7 and she was like, 6-7. The ghost singer, you saw the lights. She hit the 6-7. That shit stuck in my head, fam. And that's because I'm chronically stuck to my phone and a consumer in an algorithm that sonically blasts me with music, right? That's the type of timing we're on in the modern day in 2025. Let me go back here. Someone said, hi, David. Hi, David. Someone said travestied black women. Yup. And then Taylor Swift made that Light song with a whole ass metaphor about dancing in whiteness and feeling restless in black in the night. In the night, actually. She's not referencing black people. Actually, she's not referencing black people. She said the night. Actually. Niggas with zero reading comprehension will look you in the eye and tell you that. I promise you, they will tell you that. Disney adults will look you in the eye and be like, actually, is really brave for how they talk about their music. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift is touring with billions of dollars, slapping her sweatshop workers, telling them to work harder, to file out those releases with voice memos that cost $6 more, and you're glucking it. You're like this. You're like, look. You're like, Taylor's actually Taylor Swift. Like, we actually need a way, like, in order to, like, examine the Swifties. Like, we need a roundup of the Swifties, and we need, like, an overall just, like, poll of, like, how do y'all allow yourself to get whipped like this? Because this is wild. You know what I'm saying? When I look at Taylor Swift, I understand how there were white women as slave owners. Like, I understand this now. You know, I very much understand it. Because you white women will girl boss anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all probably girl bossing slavery. They was probably criticizing, Nat Turner was probably criticizing white women, like, slave owner. And then there was probably discourse in the town square, and all the white women were like, oh, you never talk about the white men slave owners like this. They're just allowed to rule over their slaves. Meanwhile, the white women are building factories of black women who are being forcefully impregnated. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was probably like that. Like, I'm telling you, this is just, I'm saying. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you, Vando. Nice to see you. I have a dream. Nice to see you, Vando. But anyways, like I said, our understanding of music has shifted with time, right? At a very, very fast level. Back when I was, like, younger, we were listening to songs on, like, the MP3, and whoever recorded a banger on their DS. You know what I'm saying? It was at that level. Like, there was this website called LimeWire. Like, if y'all know about that, it's a throwback. And that was the first time I found music I could download off the internet and stream through my iPod, right? Me and my sister was going crazy on LimeWire. Like, we was downloading playlist after playlist after playlist on LimeWire. Like, the amount of bangers I had on that little iPod, damn. Like, me and my sister would fight over that iPod Nano too. It got to World War I levels of fights. Like, we would call certain fights, like, world wars, because, like, if like a knife was involved or something. You know what I'm saying? And I won't say much else about that. I will say. But anyways, this was the era before online metrics of streaming, and you could check the stream counter, right? Like, when I downloaded that music and I was listening it to my iPod, you couldn't really check the stream counter. But now it's very mainstream with apps like Spotify, with apps like Tidal and YouTube, right? NBA Youngboy going wild on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I'm a young boy fan. I'll admit it. We untouchable. Come run the money. Y'all don't know Nevada. And I call it like these hoes. They don't follow. On it like a bottom blocker. Every time I catch my feelings, lock him in a bottle. So he'll probably find my heart somewhere lost in Nevada. Vada. That's a better Taylor Swift song than Taylor Swift could ever write. I'm telling you, if you put the Nevada lyrics to Youngboy into a Taylor Swift song, and I'm saying, and I'm done with these hoes, they gon' follow. Ballin' like I bought a blocker. Every time I catch my feelings, lock them in a bottle. And you'll probably find my heart somewhere lost in Nevada. Vada. That'd be #1 on iTunes. That'd be #1 on iTunes. But because it's YoungBoy, y'all don't care. You know what I'm saying? Y'all say Taylor Swift write all these good love. Listen to YoungBoy. Listen to the YN. Listen to YN love songs. Listen to Rod Wave. You ain't ever heard a love song until you listen to Rod Wave, my nigga. You ain't ever heard a love song until you listen to Rod Wave. I'm telling you. But anyways, our understanding of music has shifted, right? Taylor Swift, however, though, has survived these times, survived these eras. The era pre-streaming, the era of TikTok, and the era right in the middle of it, right? She survived all these. And she's situated in a time, in a current context in 2025, where popular discourse can be sent out in a second. You know what I'm saying? Everyone can all voice their opinions on TikTok in a second. And her image isn't as ambiguous in a norm. You know what I'm saying? As the white majority can now throw their opinions in. And there's this TikTok I wanted to look at that kind of tackles the aspect of white identity that Taylor Swift plays with, because some of these white women going wild on TikTok. So what's that? It's a banger. I'm old enough to remember LimeWire. Why do you think I see appeal in YoungBoy? YoungBoy is good. YoungBoy is good. Stop. YoungBoy is good. But anyway, I'm gonna play this.
Many things. Unfortunately, good is not one of them. I knew the album wasn't going to be good. Taylor Swift's new album is many things. Unfortunately, good is not one of them. I knew the album wasn't going to be good as soon as the title was revealed, but the promo pics made me curious, so I have listened to the album in full. And now, having listened to it, the album's problem is glaringly obvious. The problem is Taylor Swift is aging out of being a white girl. Before you scroll, let me cook. When Taylor was a teenager, she wanted to be a pop star, so her parents decided to take the country route. Keep in mind, this is the 2000s. Pop music was highly sexual, it was sleazy, and then you had things like bling rap. It's not a place for a little white girl. Country music, on the other hand, loves a little white girl, and she's blonde, they'll eat her up. So her family moved from Pennsylvania to Tennessee to launch her country career. That's why for the first several years of her career, she faked a southern accent.
She doing the same things. She doing the me. She doing the me. That was my argument too. Right? Of course, she took out the whole history of, Black identity and its relation to art, specifically in the South. But, like, she's bringing up the same point. This, me, like, ooh, twin.
Trying to fit in, seem authentic.
Twin!
Once the pop landscape started to change the late 2000s and early 2010s, that's when she started to transition to making pop music. And now to talk about white girls. White girls don't have sex. They don't know what that is. White girls they're cute, they're adorable, they're like...
She called it YOLO, she called it yo, someone swing back. The sex haver, please swing back.
They're precious, they have to be protected. Do you remember a couple months ago whenever parents would bring their kids to Sabrina Carpenter shows and then act aghast because Sabrina Carpenter, who is a highly sexual artist, was referencing sex on stage? Of course they were, because how could a short, cute little white girl who is also blonde, a blonde, cute little white girl, how could she possibly know what sex is? It's the assumption. Women having sexual freedom and willingly engaging in sex is highly associated with blackness. You can see this most clearly when it comes to things like Disney and Nickelodeon stars. Miley Cyrus, she was Hannah Montana, all-American girl. And what does she do whenever she wanted to shed the Disney image and say, hey, I'm not just a little girl anymore? She releases Can't Be Tamed in bangers. Ariana Grande, another cute little white girl. What does she do whenever she wants to shed the childhood image? She releases Dangerous Woman in Sweetener. They would do things like hang out with rappers. They would incorporate black music styles into their own music. So that way whenever they'd be sexual, it's like, oh, I'm not just a little white girl anymore. And over time, they would drift away from that because that wasn't who they authentically were. They were just using that as a way to escape the chains of being a white girl.
Yeah, and this is what I mean about Taylor Swift's music, Taylor Swift's industry. I mean, Taylor Swift's kind of white feminism and that visage of Taylor Swift, right? Because like we said, she started off as a country artist in a genre that long since has commodified black art and then set up a normativity for white people, right? And then did that. Widely appealable kind of shtick by faking a country accent. And then she moves through these eras and then uses pop music to shed that image and shed her fake country accent because she's tired of putting that up and segue into pop. And then once she's in pop, she keeps pumping out mid. She keeps pumping out mid after mid after mid after mid after mid. And then y'all are like, it's mid! It's mid! Y'all chewing on mid! Y'all chewing on mid!
Taylor Swift has never had to do that, and why would she? She makes being a white girl so fucking profitable. And the thing about Taylor Swift is that being a white girl is not just profitable for her, it's her entire brand. Because she's just, like, so awkward. And whenever she dances on stage, she's, like, bad because she's like, awkward. And she loves, like, cats and baking and, like, hanging out with her fans. And she would likely continue with this forever, except for one small problem. Taylor Swift is 35 years old.
Oh yeah, that's something she didn't bring up too. Like this is somebody's auntie. You know what I'm saying? Like this is somebody that can't really play with that mode of femininity anymore. It extends to like being, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. You not feeling 22. You about to feel 40 in a sec. You know what I'm saying? You about to I have a dream. You're about to feel 40 a little bit. But anyways, now all of a sudden this figure or stature that she played with, or that stature that she presented, even to that degree, is becoming more and more unviable. And she also brought up, I also want to say she also brought up the aspect of all these other white feminine artists or white feminine figures coming up to the mainstream, like Sabrina Carpenter, who plays with the mold of white femininity, Hannah Montana, who's played with the mold of white femininity. But I want to say these are different conversations in and of themselves, because Hannah Montana, I actually liked The Climb, and I actually liked Hannah Montana, I'm not gonna lie, and I liked the verb of femininity Hannah Montana played with as like a stature of womanhood that she has to put on and take off, right? When she puts on the complacency, she's blonde, she has blue eyes, and she's performing to an audience. That's a metaphor for white supremacy. But when she takes it off, she's a brunette. She's like, you know what I'm saying? She's just a regular girl. And like in and of itself, I love how that gave, I guess, a feminine idea of performance. And then put that metaphor into a TV show, put that metaphor into her music, and then just ran with it, right? I still think Hannah Montana's Crash Out was, I still think Miley Cyrus's Crash Out was one of the worst crash outs of the world, and she ruined a lot of her legacy by doing that, you know, black appropriation stuff. But this is how she shed it, right? That's how she shed that image of being that white girl. She took on that visage of black identity, of black music, black music, hang out with black figures, black symbols, things like that. Sabrina Carpenter, how Sabrina Carpenter plays the mold of femininity, they're more so like on the evil side, and they try to diverge it, and they try to be like, oh, well, I can be this sexual little blonde girl, or I can be an evil little blonde girl. I can do all these things. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they're still playing with the mold of white femininity. And we have to also understand we live in an atmosphere of MAGA. You know what I'm saying? White nationalism is on the rise. And that in and of itself leads or gives these white artists fertile grounds to explore white femininity, and then takes away kind of bastions of narratives for different marginalized folk, right? Think of all the black people that we are kind of leaving in the past or kind of ignoring because of people like Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter and all these other figures, right? Think of all the black artists that go under the woodwork. Like one person I really think about when we have this conversation is someone like No Name, right? No Name dropped some of the most beautiful music and some of the most beautiful albums. And sorry, I just wanted to pull up a song. This is called Song 33, right? And this is by No Name. This is one of my all-time favorite songs. This is a song she made while she was going back and forth with J. Cole. J. Cole was going back and forth with her on Twitter. And No Name was on Twitter because No Name was trying to bring about a means of intersectional change by using her platform in that way, right? Although we, at this point, know that's very hard to do. And that's something that I don't think people should try doing because it's mentally constraining. But she wrote this song, right? She said, I saw a demon on my shoulder. It's looking like patriarchy, like scrubbing blood off the carpet, like scrubbing blood off the ceiling and bleaching another carpet. How my houses get haunted. Why toy and body don't embody all the life she wanted. A baby just 19. I know I dream all black. I seen her being immortalized in tweets all caps. They said they found her dead. Do you understand what this means? Do you understand what this means? It says here, No Name is comparing J. Cole to a patriarchal demon resting on her shoulder. Right? I saw a demon on my shoulders looking like patriarchy. And then it's this man talking about No Name. You know what I'm saying? Like scrubbing blood off the ceiling and bleaching another carpet. How my houses get haunted. Why Toy Embody don't embody all the life she wanted. Right? Toyin is an activist. Right? And they were found missing. And they were found dead. Sorry, not missing. They were found dead on June 13th. Right? Right. She ties this all back to the work she's doing and how like J. Cole is coming after her, but she's thinking about all these other things, right? And she's like, I know I dream all black. I seen her everything immortalized in tweets. Like that's a harrowing image. That's a hard intro. This is an amazing artist, you know what I'm saying? But niggas in the back, quiet as a church mouse, basement studio when duty calls to get the verse out. I guess the ego hurt now. It's time to go to work. Wow, look at him go. He really down to write about me when the world is in smokes, when it's people in trees, when George was begging for his mother saying he couldn't breathe. You thought to write about me? Do you understand the significance of those lyrics? Do you understand the significance of No Name calling out a bum ass nigga that is in his basement hating on No Name for doing activist work? You know what I'm saying? While there's people in trees, while people are being lynched, while George Floyd was newly lynched and we were all toiling from this. We were all having protests of this. This was a national moment of grieving for a lot of black people. You know what I'm saying? Look what she said. Little did I know all my reading would be a bother. It's trans woman being murdered and this is all he can offer and this is all y'all receive. Distracting from the convo with organizers. They talking abolishing the police. Distracting. This is Y'all don't know how good No Name is. Y'all don't know how good No Name is. But we get artists like Taylorswift who become the focal talking points of feminist art. They become the focal talking points of feminine identity. And they take such a big space that it just takes away from the overall experience of societally sharing art. Right? We don't all get to experience this No Name song. You only experience this because I showed it to you. A black person showed it to you. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I mean about Taylor Swift being white feminism to such a focal degree in an artistic lens, because you can't really comprehend Taylor Swift's music if you're not a white woman. You can't really have fun with it. Like at this point in time, like I liked Our Song. I liked fucking, what was that one? Our Song and that one about Romeo and Juliet. The Romeo take me. Okay. Once in a while, I can vibe with the experience of a white woman in that lens. If you having fun with it like that and okay, work. But if you're giving us album after album after album of this, like overtaking artists like No Name, artists like Jamila Woods, artists like Doechii, who do fucking phenomenally with their lyrics, with their art, with their presentation, putting 1,000% just to get to the place that they're at, that Taylor Swift like basically got trust funded into. You know what I'm saying? Got money loaned into. Like what type of artist climate are we having here? You know what I'm saying? Like what type of artistic conversation do we want to have with Taylor Swift's projection of white femininity? Like I'm sincerely trying to get to the bottom of this and I can't wrap it in my head. You know what I'm saying? Someone said, bro, the fall of Ophelia one is embarrassing. Oh my God, there's even worse. Next said it feels like a joke that Taylor is considered the face of feminism in the industry because like compared to this, she doesn't even compare, right? White people can get away with being bad. They get praised for the bare minimum, right? David said Doechii mentioned. Yeah, I love Doechii. But I first want to tackle the idea of Taylor Swift being a positive spectacle of femininity. And I guess I already did multiple times. But this overall beneficial conversation of Taylor Swift's stature with womanhood in the West to me is flawed for a lot of reasons, right? To those that think that way, to those that think of Taylor Swift as this bastion of femininity, I'd like to ask why. Sincerely, why? Right? Blonde billionaire systemically controls the music industry. I'd argue we all just like to see the imagery of progress without delving deeper into what her projected caricature means and how she fundamentally causes oppression as a billionaire in the billionaire class for the people around us. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of people confuse integration with liberation, right? Integration to a capitalistic system is not liberation. Seeing symbols of integration while you're suffering, while you're looking for a house that's like 3K a year on the market, you know what I'm saying? That's not the same, right? For a lot of indigenous and black feminist thought leaders, liberation was seen with an aspect of communal permeance, right? Be it for the culture or for the people, you know what I'm saying? Taylor Swift is nothing but a husk of this formulated idea that integration will get us to this point. But what do I mean by integration, chat? Right? What do I mean by integration? Because I'm kind of rambling a little bit. But it's also nice to see almost 200 damn people on this live. Damn. Like the lives are getting bigger and everything. So it's nice to have y'all chilling with me, talking with me in the chat and all that. Someone said I loved Bad Blood and Shake It Off when it would, yeah. Like those, I'm saying there was a couple songs that were just like catchy. But if you make 9 million songs, 9 million of the same songs, like one of them gonna hit, you know what I'm saying? And they're very formulaic to that extent, to the extent that she just wanted a bop or from time to time. Someone said this hits hard, liberation and integration. As a rad femme, to be honest, that's something I say all the time. A woman being in a position of power, aka a fucking billionaire, isn't inherently feminist if she's neutral about other women's suffering, right? Assimilation. It is a lot like assimilation. I suppose the upside of Taylor Swift is she crushes the misogynistic belief that women should not date multiple people in their lifetime, but she will write a song about every breakup. Well, I mean, shout to her. Like, women should be whores. You know what I'm saying? I love Sexy Red for that reason, but I also hate Sexy Red for the aspects of integration she imposes. And I won't say anymore because I'm gonna do a live about that one day probably. Someone said you're a racist for saying cracker. You're a hypocrite. And you're a cracker. Cracker. Polly want a cracker? Wait. Come here. Polly want a cracker? Let me know. I don't give a fuck. Somebody ban Adam. I need to get my mods back in this chat. Cause what the hell? My chat not getting gentrified. The hell? I'm not allowed to say cracker. What the hell? No, I'm allowed to say cracker. My ancestors fought for the right for me to say cracker. They fought through a million different hardships and servitudes that you placed upon them, including cannibalism, for me to be alive today and voice my opinion against white people. I'm gonna say cracker if the fuck I want. Cracker. Like what? But anyways, I want to say, because we're also in an age of a short form algorithm, I want to talk about how white incompetence can also overshow black ingenuity very easily, right? With a black sound in the background and a white dancer in the forefront. Think of somebody like Charli D'Amelio in terms of like aspects of integration, right? It's amazing to see Charli D'Amelio do what she do and get the billions of followers. You know, if you're thinking through only like a feminist lens, you know what I'm saying? It's amazing to see Charli D'Amelio do what she do, but then you unpack more of what she do and you're like, wait, she gets all these dances from black women. Wait, she gets all her sounds from black artists. Wait, this is all just black art packaged into a white aesthetic, right? And Charli D'Amelio basically just stands on top of a lot of different black people in order to be propagated in that algorithm. All that symbol of Charli D'Amelio can be applauded. Like, what are we really ignoring at the end of the day, right? And that's the example of white feminism that I kind of want to lock in on, right? So someone said most of her songs not about her boyfriend. It's just about how she's not like a girl's girl, but she is literally a basic white woman, so her characterization is so empty, right? Who the fuck is saying the word? Who the fuck is crying about the word crack? You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. I am not sure. But we're gonna be looking at one song called "The Fate of Ophelia" because I think I got through most of what I wanted to get off my chest. You know what I'm saying? But there's still this one song, and it's called "The Fate of Ophelia," and I've heard it was equally awful. And we're just gonna watch it for the memes. And also, I want to do one more Taylor Swift song. I want to parody a Taylor Swift song. I want to show y'all how easy it is to make a Taylor Swift song by making my own Taylor Swift song. Okay? I want to show y'all that it's that easy. Okay? It's not hard. Well, look at this. This is called "The Fate of Ophelia." Someone in the chat said it's awful, so I wanted to pull it up. I heard you calling on the megaphone. You want to see me all alone. As legends has it, you are quite the pyro. You light the match to watch it blow. As if you never come for me, I might have drowned in the melancholy colony I wrote This is just so, this is like, you know, Robert Munch, you know, when you're like in a kindergarten class and you tell the kids to make poetry and they're like, I love my mom. I love my mom.com. I love my mom, no rom-com. I love my mom, Psalm. Like, this is just like, dog, all that time I sat alone in my tower, you were just honing your powers. Now I can see it all. These lyrics rewrite a Shakespearean oh my God. I'm going, guys, yeah, we're gonna do it. Taylor Swift type beat. Taylor Swift type beat free for use. What's gonna pop up?
Okay, we're using this one. I'm gonna write y'all a Taylor Swift song, okay? This is how you do a Taylor Swift song. Hype me up, chat. Hype me up, chat. Hype me up, chat. Hype me up, chat. Hey. I was chilling in my home when something appeared frankly in my dome. I looked it up on Google Chrome. They told me it was you. I don't have a blues clue about you. You were in every page that my mind drew. You left me in the cold. I said, achoo. Now I'm fighting back to the sunlight. One day I might kiss you or date you. I'm white to blue eyes to copper blue. Achoo, I'm blue for you. Achoo, I'm blue for you. Achoo, I'm blue for you. Wait. They was calling me the mega queen. That was cause I was the white girl's dream. I hit the hook on them niggas like Kareem. I went pop and I started moving clean. One day the volcano of my heart gon' erupt in your way. You gon' see it my way. On delay. Okay, that's it. I'm done. This is so easy to make. I was freestyling for 2 minutes. That was 2 minutes.
That was 2 minutes. I need to let y'all know that. Like, you could do that for so damn long. Like, Taylor Swift is not hard. But anyways, it was nice. It was nice chilling with y'all. And I want to say hearts to everybody here. Everybody send hearts to yourself because y'all are helping this. I want to say my side channel has been growing so quickly. And I always am so thankful for the chat moving so quickly because the chat is moving at such a quick space. Sometimes I can't even read all the messages. You know what I'm saying? But having people here, having people loving me, having people sharing in the hatred, be a rage baiter with me. You know what I'm saying? We gonna rage bait these Aryans all the way to a million K, a million 100,000 billion K. So thank y'all for being here. Sending my heart to the screen. Sending my heart. And I'll catch y'all till next time.